Going back to our discussion on omitted measurements, again, there are three types. For type 1, omitted measurements are on one side. Case 1, length and bearing of one side unknown. Can we correct that? That should be bearing of one side unknown. For type 2, omitted measurements involving two adjoining sides. So in this type, we have three cases. And for type 3, omitted measurements involving two non-adjoining sides, we also have three cases. So today I'm going to discuss with you type 2, and I'll try to cover until the three cases. Let's solve first for type 2, omitted measurements involving two adjoining sides. Again, when we say adjoining sides, yung dalawang sides ay magkatabi sila. Okay, so for case 1, I have already presented to you an example regarding type 2 case 1. Let's try to solve this one. Given lines A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, and EA, and its corresponding lengths and bearings. So as you can see here, walang length and bearing si DE at si EA respectively. So we are required to determine the length of DE and the bearing of EA. So let's try to solve first for the latitude and departure of the completed lines. Again, how did we solve the latitude? Ulitin lang natin yung solution natin for latitude. That is, sorry, just erase this. So to solve, how did I get these latitudes and departure as we have discussed last time? So latitude so again, latitude is equal to your distance times the cosine of bearing. So for the latitude of line AB, that is simply equal to 1084.32 times the cosine of that bearing, 75 degrees 48 minutes. Kindly verify if my solution is correct. Do not merely stare on your screen, but grab your calculators and your pen and your notes and try to input these values in your calculator to verify my answer. That is 265.99. Again, bakit siya negative? As you can see sa my bearing, nasa south po yung ating line. Starting from south, papuntang east. Again, east is positive. Ulitin lang natin. Positive ang north, negative ang south, positive ang east, and negative ang west. How did I solve for the departure? Again, for the departure, that is equal to distance times sine of your bearing. So for the departure of AB, that is simply equal to your distance, 1084.32, times the sine of my bearing, 15 degrees 18 minutes. So let's verify again if my answer is correct for 32 times sine of 15 degrees 18 minutes, and that is equal to 286. 1084.32 times sine. Ay, mali. Sorry. Kindly check this one. Punta na ako sa may line B. That is 1084.32 times sine of 75 degrees 48 minutes. So that should be sine of 75 degrees 48 minutes. 1051.19 yung ating departure for line AB. So, ganyan po yung ginawa ko to solve for the latitudes and the departure of our lines with complete data. So again, yung mga lines na kompleto ang data, we have AB, BC, and CD. Kulang ang data ni DE tsaka ni EA. So if I'm going to draw or illustrate yung traverse na ito, it will look like that. So yung aking line DE tsaka line EA ay broken line siya kasi incomplete yung kanyang data. Again, what was our step last meeting regarding type 2 case 1? For problems or for traverse like this, introduce a closing line. So, i-close natin yung mga lines na may kompleto ang data. So, in this case, I'm going to add a closing line DA. So, yung DA ko, that is yung my closing line. Okay? So, that was our first step last meeting regarding type 2 case 1 on omitted measurements. So, after na nag-introduce tayo ng ating closing line, yan, bumalik tayo sa my type 1. Wherein, we determine, kailangan natin kunin yung length, bearing, latitude, and departure ng ating DA. Ano ulit yung ginawa natin last meeting? So, bago natin makukuha or masosolve yung length at saka yung bearing ni DA, yung ating closing line, we need to solve for the latitude and departure of DA. What did we do last meeting? So, how did we solve the latitude and departure of DA? So, let's compute first for the correction of your latitude, that is simply equal to negative 265.99 minus 1,534.14 minus 482.92. So if I'm going to input this in my calculator, that is simply equal to, can you verify my answer? My answer here is negative 2,283.05. Okay, negative yung lumabas sa calculator. So, ano yung ginawa natin last meeting? Pag isusulat natin siya dito sa may latitude ni DA, take the opposite sign, that is now equal to 2,283.05. So, how about the departure of line DA? So, for the departure, that is simply equal to 1,051.19 minus 419.69 minus 1,201.31. So, my correction for the departure can be verified in my answers, that is 419.69 to 20.31. My answer here is 500, negative 500, hindi, positive pa rin, labas sa calculator, positive 691.81. Sorry. That is negative. So, kapag ilalagay ko siya sa may departure ni DA, I'll take the opposite sign, that is positive 569.81. So, ganyan yung process ko to solve for the to solve for the departure and the latitude of line DA. Next, after na na-compute natin yung ating departure and latitude, we can now solve for the length and bearing of line DA. So, ano ulit yung ginawa natin to solve for the bearing and length of line DA? So, let's solve first for the length of DA. That is simply equal to the square root of your latitude, that is 2,283.05 squared plus your departure, 569.81 squared. Inputting that in your calculator, the length of your line DA is equal now to, and input that in your calculator and verify my answer. My answer here is 2,353.08 meters. So yan yung length ng aking line DA, 2,353.08. Again, the unit of measurement for our length is in meters. So how about the bearing of DA? So yung ginawa natin last time, that is the inverse tangent of your departure over latitude. So that is the inverse tangent of my departure 569.81 and my latitude is 2,283.05. Therefore, the bearing of line DA is 569.81 divided by 2,283.05 tangent. And my answer here for the bearing of DA is equal to 14 degrees 0 minutes. I'll round that off. I round that up to 1 minute. Okay? Kasi yung lobas sa calculator ko, 15 degrees 0 minutes, 49.48 seconds. So, I round that up to 1 minute para mas simplify yung aking answer. So, my direction here is north-east. Therefore, yung aking bearing ng DA is north, 14 degrees, and 1 minute east. Okay, so ito na yung data ng aking DA. This is not yet my final answer. Since ang hinahanap natin dito is the length of DE and the bearing of EA. So, after determining the data, the length and bearing of your closing line, proceed now to the next step. Anong ginawa natin last meeting? Okay. So, pag nasolve na natin yung mga data ng ating closing line, we can now proceed dun sa paggamit ng ating sine law or cosine law. So, in solving the length of DA and the bearing of EA, let's using this figure now. So, saan galing yung figure na to? Balikan lang natin. Galing po siya dito. Okay? Inalis ko lang si AB, BC, tsaka si CD since kompleto naman yung kanyang data. So, i-concentrate ko ngayon doon sa may kulang ang kanyang data. So, isulat natin yung mga given. Given kanina na yung bearing ni DE. So, bearing ni DE, given siya dito. That is north of 28 degrees 39 minutes. So, isulat natin siya dito. Yung bearing ni D to E. So, yung bearing ni D to E. Okay? So, ito si D. Yan si D. Galing siya kay north, papunta kay west. Given itong bearing na to. And that is 28 degrees 39 minutes. Okay? Again, applying your vertical angles or reverse angle. If this is 28 degrees 39 minutes, I can also say na itong angle na to is equal to 28 degrees 39 minutes. Tama? Yan. And nasolve din natin kanina na itong si DA, meron siyang bearing na 14 degrees 1 minute. That is northeast. Saan ko ilalagay itong 14 degrees 1 minute? I'll just change the color of my para makita natin. So that is from D to A. I'll just extend this line here. So from D to A. And nasolve natin siya as 14 degrees 1 minute. Okay, that is northeast from D to A. And nasolve din natin yung length ni DA. That is 2,000. Yung line na to, yung kulay red, ang kanyang length ay 2,353.08. Given din po kanina yung length ng iba pang lines natin. Yung length ni EA ay given. Length ni EA ay given. That is 1,000. Sorry. This is 1,738.96. Yan yung length ni EA. So, how are we going to solve now? Again, ang hinahanap natin dito is the length of DE at saka yung bearing ni EA. So, i-highlight lang natin yung ating mga unknowns para may guide tayo. So, that is the length of DE. Ito ang length ni DE. At saka yung bearing ni EA. So, bearing, this one here is the bearing of EA. So, how are we going to solve that one? Now, if we try to look here, makukuha ko si EA if I know this angle. I'll name this angle as angle alpha. So, from this, masosolve ko yung bearing ni I can solve for the bearing. I'll just change the color of my pen. So, to solve for the bearing of EA, that is so for the bearing of EA, that is simply equal to 180 degrees. Tama. I'm going to concentrate on this one. Minus the angle 20 degrees, 39 minutes. I-minus ko si alpha, makukuha ko yung bearing ni EA. So, I need to solve first for this angle alpha. So, anong gagamitin kong law to solve for that alpha? Yes, I can use my sine law. Ano ang sabi sa may sine law? The ratio of A over sine A is equal to your B over sine B is equal to your C over sine of C. So, parang yung ginawa natin last time. Kaya na yung bahalang mag-determine kung ano ang A, ano ang angle A ninyo. Okay? So, nasa sa inyo na yun. So, in my case, mamimili ako dito sa mga distances na to kung alin dyan yung aking side A. Okay. So, in here, ang gagawin kong side A ay yung aking DA. Since mayroon siyang length, si DA, that is my A over sine. The angle opposite DA is alpha. Tama? Ulitin ko. Yung angle opposite DA is my alpha. That is equal to, let my B be equal to, ano pa ba yung given dito? EA. Yung EA, given yung kanyang distance, let that be my B over sine. The angle opposite EA is this one. Tama? If this is EA, yung opposite angle niya ay itong angle na to. Yung kulay white. Right? I'll name this angle so I'll name that angle as angle theta. So, si EA, ang opposite angle niya ay si theta. Tama? So, may value ako ni DA, that is 2,353.08. Wala akong value ni alpha. I have the value of EA. As for my theta, I can solve the value of my theta. So, let's solve first for the value of theta para magkaroon tayo ng para magamit natin itong sine law na ito. Okay. So, how are we going to solve for the value of theta? Madali na lang siya kasi kapag titingnan natin dito sa may figure na to, theta is simply equal to 28 degrees, 39 minutes plus 14 degrees, 1 minute. Right? So, therefore, my theta here is equal to, kindly verify my answer, that is 42 degrees, 40 minutes. Okay, yan yung aking theta. So, I can now use my sine law here. Ito, magagamit ko na siya ngayon. That is dA. Again, lilipat ko lang siya dito para may space ako. Alpha is equal to EA over sine theta. Ito lang dati space ko. So, again, my dA. The length of my dA is 2,353.08 over sine, wala akong value ni alpha, that is equal to EA is 1,738.96 over sine. My theta is 42 degrees, 40 minutes. So, I can solve the value now of my alpha. Again, sa mga walang shift solve sa calculator, you may want to do this one. Cross multiplication, 1,738.96 times sine of alpha is equal to 2,353.08 times the sine of 42 degrees, 40 minutes. Divide both sides by 1,738.96. 1,738.96. Then take the inverse sine of your answer. Makukuha ninyo si alpha, which is equal to, again, kindly verify my answer. So, 353.08 times sine of 42 degrees, 40 minutes, divided by 17.96. So, my answer here is 66 degrees and that's 30 minutes. I-drop out ko na yung seconds. Maliit lang naman siya, 7.98. Ma'am, sa quiz ba namin, okay lang na i-drop out namin si seconds? I think mas magandang isulat ninyo si seconds. I'm going to stop here sa my minutes para madali yung aking computation. Okay? So, that is the value of my alpha. Again, this is not yet my final answer kasi ang hinahanap natin dito, yung length ni DE at saka yung bearing ni EA. Ang nasolve lang natin dito is the value of your alpha. Let's continue our computation. So, yung ginawa natin kanina, sulat lang ulit natin. ito si alpha, tama? And this was our theta. Given yung distance ni DA, yung na-solve natin kanina, ang distance ni DA is 2,353.08. As for the distance of EA is 1,738.96. So, given din na yung kanina, balikan ko lang, that angle is 28 degrees 39 minutes. So, itong angle na to is 28 degrees 39 minutes. And itong maliit lang na angle na to, that is 1401. So, itong angle na maliit dito, that is 14 degrees 1 minute. So, if that is 14 degrees 1 minute, I can also say that this angle here is 14 degrees 1 minute. And ito yung isang unknown natin. Yung hinahanap natin na unknown is this one. This angle here. This is the bearing of EA. And isa pang hinahanap natin, length ni ED or ni length ni DE. Yan. Yan yung mga hinahanap natin. So, a while ago, we have already solved the value of our alpha, which is equal to 66 degrees 30 minutes. Na-solve din natin kanina yung value ni theta. That is 42 degrees 40 minutes. So, kung nakuha ko na si alpha, sabi nga natin kanina, to solve for the bearing of EA, that is simply equal to 180 degrees minus 28 degrees 39 seconds minus the value of your alpha, 66 degrees 30 minutes. So, therefore, the bearing of your EA is equal to, kindly double check my answer, is 180, 28, 39, 66. My answer here is 8451. So, ang bearing ni EA ay 84 degrees 51 minutes. Yan yung bearing ni line EA. What is my direction? As you can see here in this diagram, that is north. Pupunta siya ng east. Okay. So, 1 down. This is now the bearing of your EA. May isa pa tayong kailangang hanapin, yung length ni ED. So, again, it's your choice if you want to use the cosine law or the sine law, pero ayaw kong pahirapin yung sarili ko. I'm going to choose, again, still, my sine law. So, ang gusto kong hanapin ay yung length ni ED. So, I'm going just to simply, again, use A over sine of A is equal to B over sine of B. That is equal to C over sine of C. So, bahala kayo kung ano yung A, B, and C ninyo. So, kanina I used A as the DA, that is 2,353.08 over sine. The angle opposite DA is your alpha, which is 66 degrees 30 minutes. That is equal to, gusto kong hanapin si length ni ED. So, I'm going to write ED over sine. The angle opposite line ED is this angle. Tama? I'll name this angle as gamma. So, how am I going to solve the value of my gamma? Again, sabi nga natin last time, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So, if I'm going to use that one, 180 degrees is equal to alpha plus theta plus gamma. So, that is 180 degrees. My alpha, I've already solved that, 66 degrees, 30 minutes. My theta is 42 degrees, 40 minutes. And gamma. So, inputting this in your calculator, the value of my gamma is equal to 180 minus 6630. So, my gamma here is equal to 70 degrees, 50 minutes. Again, do not just merely stare on your screens, but I suggest you verify my answers. Again, substituting this in my sine law is 2353.08. Divide it by the sine of 66 degrees, 30 minutes is equal to ED over the sine, my gamma is 70 degrees, 50 minutes. Again, inputting this in your calculator, the value of my ED is equal now to 3.08 times sine 70 divide it by sine 6630. My answer here is 2,423.66 meters. This is now the length of my line ED. So that is the solution for the problem under type 2 case 1. Okay. How about for type 2 case 2? Again, for type 2 omitted measurements involving two adjoining sides. In case 2, lengths of two sides unknown. So as you can see here in this problem, I'll just complete the given data for this problem. So the length yung bearing ng ating mga lines I was not able to type. This is north of 9 degrees 30 minutes west, north of 56 degrees 55 minutes west, south 56 30 west, south 2 02 east, then south 89 31 east, north north south 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 west 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 east east 6 Okay. So, ito yung given for this problem. Walang length si BC at saka si CD. So, let's solve first for the latitudes and departure ng mga lines with complete data. Okay? So, how are we going to solve for the latitude and departure of the lines with complete data? Again, yung sabi natin sa latitude, that is distance times cosine of bearing, and departure is distance times sine of bearing. Again, verify my answers, please. My answer for the latitude of AB is 630.55. Positive kasi north. For line BC, walang bearing. So, proceed ako kay line DE, that is south. So, negative 570.17. and this is 9.13 negative. For the departure of line AB since west, so negative 105.52. Wala. Kay DE naman, that is east, so positive 20.24. And line EA is positive 1082.67. Okay? So, after na nakuha ko yung latitude and departure ng completed lines, ito yung itsura ng aking traverse. Incomplete yung data ni BC and CD. Kaya highlight ko siya ng blue. Okay? After that, just like what we did in type 2, case 1, introduce a closing line doon sa mga lines na may complete data. So, in this case, my closing line is line DB. Si line DB ang aking closing line. So, I have to determine the length and bearing of line DB. So, na-solve natin kanina yung latitude ni AB, DE, tsaka EA, tsaka departure niya. Isulat ko lang siya ulit dito. I was not able to type it. So, ang bearing ni AB is north 9 degrees 30 minutes west. DE is south 02 east, south 8931 east 630.55 negative 570.17 negative 9.30. Departure is west, so 105.52 positive 20.24 1082.67. Okay. So, yan yung data ng aking mga lines with complete bearings and lengths. So, I need the value of my DB, yung kanyang length and bearing. Gaya ng ginawa natin in the previous example. I need to solve for the latitude of DB, so I'll just simply compute for the correction, that is 630.55 minus 570.17 minus 9.13. Ang lumabas sa aking calculator, this is positive 51.25. Again, can I verify my answers? For the correction ng DB, that is negative 105.52 negative plus 20.24 plus 1082.67. Ang lumabas sa aking calculator is positive 997.39 meters. Again, can you verify my answers? Okay? Then, as for the latitude of DB, yung correction sa latitude, I'm just going to copy that one, 51.25. But take the opposite sign. So, that should be minus. And, as for the departure, just copy 997.39. Take the opposite sign, that is minus. Okay? So, for the bearing of line DB, that is simply equal to the inverse tangent of 997.39 over 51.25. So, the bearing of line DB is equal to, again, can you verify my answers na nakikita nyo sa screen. Shift tangent. So my answer here is 87 degrees. I'll round that up. Yung 30.58, I'll round that up to 1 minute. So, 4 minutes. What is my direction? Negative yung latitude, so that is south. Negative yung aking departure, so that is west. So, the bearing of my line DB is equal to the south 87 degrees 4 minutes west. For my length, again, length is simply equal to the square root of your departure squared plus latitude squared. So that is 997 squared, 997.39 squared plus 51.25 squared. So the length of line length of line DA is equal to 998.71 meters. Yan ngayon yung length and bearing ng aking closing line. Okay? And ulitin ko, nakuha na natin yung mga length and bearing ng aking closing line DB. That is not the final answer kasi ang hinahanap sa problem na to is the bearing of the two lines BC and CD. And ang solve lang natin yung closing line na DB. So, balikan lang natin yung figure kanina. Yan yung ating figure. Okay? So, ulitin ko yung sinabi ko kanina. Hinighlight ko dito yung mga hindi kompleto ang data, which is line BC and line CD. So, ang nasolve lang natin, it is the closing line DB. Saan ulit sa closing line? Yan po yung ating closing line. Okay? So, nasolve na natin si DB. I'm just going to isolate yung triangle natin para masolve natin yung ating mga unknowns. Okay? So, sulat ko lang ulit yung datas natin for line AB is north 9 degrees 30 minutes west. This is south of 2 degrees 10 minutes east. EA south 89.41 east 655 gets 17 negative 9.50 negative 105.52. This is 20.24 and 1082.67. 7.39 negative 15.95. This is south 87 degrees 35 minutes west 998.0. Okay, so these are the properties or the length and bearing of DB. So isulat lang natin dito D from D to B. Ayan. This angle here is 87 degrees 4 minutes. And ano pa ba yung mga given? We have already solved the length of DB, that is 998.71 meters. Other properties given is the bearing of line BC. So from B to C, bearing, given yung ating bearing. From B to C, itong angle na to, that is B to C, 56 degrees 55 minutes. given din yung bearing ni line CD. That is southwest. So, itong angle na to, southwest. That angle is given as 56 degrees, 13 minutes. Ma'am, saan galing yung mga yan? Balikan ninyo yung given kanina. Yung pinaka-first na given po itong mga ito. Okay. Again, applying your vertical angles. If this is 56 degrees, 55 minutes, I can also say that itong angle na to is also equal to 56 degrees, 55 minutes. The same with this one. If this is 56 degrees, 30 minutes, I can also say that this angle here is 56 degrees, 13 minutes. Okay. Unknown dito yung length ni DC at saka yung length ni BC. So, in using your sine law, para hindi tayo pabalik-balik, let's solve first for the values of your internal angles. So, isolve muna natin yung angle na to para hindi tayo mahirapan mamaya. I'll name this angle alpha. I'll name this angle gamma. And I'll name this angle here as theta. Okay, looking at this diagram, I can solve for the value of alpha and theta, right? Paano mo siya isosolve, ma'am? So, I'll start with alpha. From this diagram here, I know that 180 degrees is minus ko yung equal, wait lang. Equal siya kay 56 degrees, 13 minutes, plus 87 degrees, 4 minutes, plus kay alpha. Tama. So, masosolve ko ngayon si alpha, which is equal to paki-input sa inyong mga calculator. How are we going to solve for the angle alpha? My answer here, 56, 13, 8704, 180. My answer here is 8704. 36 degrees, 43 minutes. Pa-verify po ng aking sagot. 13 plus 8704. 36, 43 minutes. As for my theta, masosolve ko siya. That is 56 degrees, 13 minutes plus 56 degrees, 55 minutes. So, my theta is equal to 56, 13 plus 56, 55. 113 degrees, 8 minutes. How about my gamma? Sabi nga natin kanina, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So, that is equal to 56 degrees, 13 minutes plus your alpha plus gamma. Nasolve ko kanina si alpha. So, that's 180 degrees is equal to 56 degrees, 13 minutes. Wait lang. Sorry. May mistake here. So again, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So that is equal to your alpha plus theta plus gamma. So 180 degrees is now equal to my alpha is 36 degrees, 43 minutes. My alpha is 113 degrees, 8 minutes, and gamma. Therefore, the value of my gamma is equal to 180 minus 3643 minus 1138. That is equal to 30 degrees and 9 minutes. Again, paki-verify po ng aking mga sagot. So, my alpha here is 56, 13, 87, 04. Theta, 56, 55, 13. Okay, so nasolve ko na yung mga interior angles. Okay, next. Ang hinahanap ko dito is the length of lines BC and CD. So, I'm going to apply here my sine law. So, ulitin lang natin yung sinulat natin kanina. This is my alpha. This is my theta. And this is my gamma. So, we have solved that theta is equal to 3643. So, my alpha is equal to 36 degrees, 43 minutes. My theta, yung na-solve natin kanina, 113 degrees, 8 minutes. And for my gamma is 30 degrees, 9 minutes. Is 30 degrees, 9 minutes. Other given data is the length, 998.70. 8.70. So, yung length ng ating DB, 998.71. Okay. So, unknown yung length ni CD tsaka ni length ni BC. Again, I'm going to use my sine law. That is A over sine of A is equal to B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. So, kaya na mamili kung alin dyan si A, B, and C. So, in my case, I'm going to choose my A as 998.71 over sine. Yung angle na opposite ni 998.71 ay si theta. Tama? That is equal to, I'll make my side B as side BC over sine. Yung angle na opposite ni DC is your gamma. 998. Isulat ko na yung values ng aking theta. Sine, my theta here is 113, 8 minutes. It is equal to DC. My gamma here is 30 degrees, 9 minutes. Okay? So, my DC is equal to 998.71 times sine of 39 divided by sine 1138. So, my answer here, 545.48 meters. Ito yung length ng aking DC. How about the length of BC? Again, I'm going to use sine law. I'll just make copy. I-copy ko lang yung aking side A, 998.71 over sine. Yung angle na opposite ni 998.71 ay si theta, which is 113 degrees, 8 minutes. That is equal to, this time, ang magiging B ko ay si BC over, yung angle na opposite ni BC ay si alpha. So, that is, substitute ko lang yung value ni alpha. So, magiging sine of 36 degrees, 43 minutes. Therefore, the length of my BC, 998.71, times sine of 36, 43, divide it by sine of 113, 8, that is equal to 649.29 meters. This is now the length of my line BC. Okay, so that is the solution for the problem under type 2, case 2. Last case under type 2 is case 3, bearings of two sides unknown. So, for this given problem, walang binigay na bearing. Sulat ko lang yung data. Kulang yung ating data. So, kay line AB, south, 73 degrees, 47 minutes east, south of 15 degrees, 14 minutes west, south 6707 west, unknown. Okay, so walang bearing si D at saka si EA. Yan ang given na data sa atin. So, ito yung itsura ng ating traverse. So, as always, yung ginawa natin previously, we have to introduce a closing line. So, yan yung aking closing line kay line DA. Then, what we did next, kung si closing line ko si DA, I'm going to take solve the length and bearing of my closing line DA. Tama? So, I'm going to solve for the latitude and departures. So, isolve na muna natin yung latitude and departures ng ating closing line DA. Given yung length ni AB, 1,081.35. BC is 1,589.5. And CD is 1,293.72. Bearing naman, lahat sila ay sa south. This is 73 degrees, 47 minutes east. This is 15 degrees, 14 minutes west. 67 degrees, 7 minutes west. So, latitude ni AB, again, kindly verify my answers. This is 301.99. South, 1,533.65. 503.07. And positive, 1038.33. Yes, negative 417.64. Negative 1,191.5. So, verify ulit yung mga answers ko dito. Kasi ano man ang i-solve the latitude, distance times cosine of bearing, departure distance times sine of bearing. So, paano yung DA ulit? Okay? Take the sum of the latitudes. So, that is negative 301.99 minus 1,533.65. Ay, bakit? This is still negative. Kasi nasa south siya. That is minus 503.07. Ang lalabas sa aking calculator ay negative 2,338.71 meters. For the correction sa departure, that is 1,038.33 minus 417.64 minus 1,191.9. Ang lalabas sa aking calculator ay negative 571.21 meters. So again, pag isusulat ko siya dito sa may closing line, ni DA, ang kanyang latitude ay take the opposite sign, 2,338.71. And for my departure, that is 571.21. Again, for the bearing, inverse tangent ni departure over latitude. And my answer here is I round that up to the nearest minute. So my answer here is 13 degrees 44 minutes. Again, verify my answers. Positive, so sa north east yung aking bearing for DA. As for the length, square root of the square departure squared plus latitude squared, and lumabas sa aking calculator, this is the length of line DA is 2,407.46. Okay. So again, verify my answers using your calculators. Okay? So, meron na tayong length and bearing ni DA. Sulat lang natin siya dito. May DA here. The length is 2,407.46. Given din yung length ni EA kanina. That is 1,737.98. As for the length of your ED, that is 2,506.94. And nasolve natin yung bearing ni DA. So, from D to A, itong angle na to is 13 degrees 44 minutes. Yan yung given na angle. So, again, using your vertical angles, if that is 13 degrees, I can say na itong angle dito, itong maliit na angle dito, that is 13 degrees 44 minutes. Okay? So, parang ginawa natin in the previous problems. Let's solve for the interior angles first. Palitan ko lang yung kulay ng aking pen. So, ang hinahanap natin dito, yung bearing ni DE. D to E. So, ito yung hinahanap natin. Bearing ni D to E. And yung bearing ni E to A. Bearing of E to A. This angle here is the bearing of E to A. Yan yung mga hinahanap natin. So, how are we going to solve for the values of these bearings? Yan. So, in type 2, case 3, paki-correct this should be case 3. Case 3 po ito. Bearings of the two lines are unknown. Okay? So, nasa case 3 na tayo. So, how are we going to solve this one? Kung sa may type 2, case 1 and case 2, inuna natin si sine law. Pagdating kay case 3, unahin natin ngayon si cosine law. Ulitin natin yung discussion natin last meeting. What is the cosine law? How are we going to use cosine law? Sabi ko nga last meeting, you have discussed this during your senior and junior high. Nalipatan nyo lang siguro nga, ay, cosine law kayang tinagan na diyan ngayon sa usaryo during your high school. You just erase this one. And let's use your cosine law. So again, sulat natin yung cosine law natin. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. So, kayo nang bahala kung anong gagamitin ninyong A, B, and C. Ang importante dito, sabi ko nga, yung side na nandito sa my left, ang i-consider ninyong angle is the opposite angle of this side. So, kung ang gagamitin kong C ay I'm going to use side C as this one, yung side ni DA. That is 2,407.46 squared is equal to, gagamitin kong A ay C 1,737.98 squared plus, so B ko ay si 2,506.94 squared minus 2 times 1,737.98 times 2,506.94 times cosine. Ano ngayon yung gagamitin nating angle dito? Since ang nandito sa my left side is this 2,407.46, yung angle na opposite nito is this one. Tama? Yung angle opposite ng 2,407.46 ay itong angle na to. And I'll name this alpha. Okay? So, I'll name that alpha. Inputting this in your calculator. Ito ang i-input natin sa calculator. Inputting this one, yung ibabox ko ng kulay yellow. Inputting this in your calculator, masosolve natin yung value ni alpha. Ma'am, paano siya i-enter sa calculator? Enter you the calculator there. If you find it difficult to input this in your calculator, you may come EJ third floor. During break, I'll teach you how to input these values in your calculator. So that is 2,407.46 squared, 1,737.98 squared, so 406.94 squared divided by negative 2,737.98 times 294 shift cosine. My answer here for the value of alpha is 66 degrees, 15 minutes. I'm rounding up to the nearest minutes. I-drop out ko 2.2 seconds, pasit mo lang diyan. Okay, so that is alpha. Hinahanap ko dito is the bearing of EA and DE. But before I can solve the values of um, bearing ng EA at bearing ng DE, I need to solve first the interior angles. Okay? So, na-solve na natin yung angle alpha. If you try to look in here, masosolve ko si bearing ni DE basta alam ko yung value nito, itong angle na to. And I'll name this angle theta. Paano ko isosolve si theta? So, sa may type 2, case 3, after using the cosine law, we can now use after using your cosine law, we can now use your sine law. Ano yung sabi ulit ni sine law? A over sine of A is equal to B over sine of B is equal to C over sine C. Right? Okay. So, paano natin siya ngayon isosolve? Okay, balikan lang natin. Kanina, this is our alpha. This side here is 2,407.46. And this side here is 1,737.98. This angle here, we name this as theta. Given na itong bearing ni DA is 13 degrees, 44 minutes. Ito ngayon yung unknown bearing ni DE. And ito rin yung isa pang unknown bearing ni EA. Given yung length ni ED, that is 2,506.94. So we have solved a while ago the value of your alpha that using your cosine law, that is 66 degrees, 15 minutes. So pag natapos na natin si sine law, we can use si cosine law, we can use your sine law. That is A over sine of A is equal to B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. So, ang ginamit ko kanina na A ay si 1,737.98 over yung angle na opposite ni 1,737.98 ay si theta, right? That is equal to, I'll use 2,407.46 as my B over the angle opposite. This is your alpha, which is nasolve na natin kanina na si alpha is equal to 66 degrees 15 minutes. Inputting this in your calculator, masosolve ko ngayon yung value ni theta, which is equal to 1737.98 sine 66.15 divide it by 2,407.46. Okay, check. This should be sine of theta. Shift sine. Yan. So, ang value ng aking theta na nasolve ko is 41 degrees. I am going to round that up 32.84 seconds. So, gagawin ko itong 22 minutes. Again, I'm rounding up to the nearest minutes. Pero pag kayo magsasolve, okay lang naman na kopyahin ninyo si seconds. Okay, so that is the value of our theta. Masasolve ko na ngayon yung aking bearing DE. How am I going to solve the bearing of DE? That is simply equal to theta minus 13 degrees 44 seconds. Tama? So, my bearing of DE is now equal to my theta. Nasolve ko si theta. That is 41 degrees 22 minutes minus 13 degrees 44 minutes. As to my calculator, the value is 22 minus 13, 44. So, yung bearing ni DE is DE 27 degrees 38 minutes. That is 27 degrees 38 minutes D to E, and that is north to E. West. Northwest. This is now my answer for the bearing of DE. May isa pa tayong kailangang hanapin, yung bearing ni EA. Now, if you try to look here, if this is the bearing of DE, I can also say na yung bearing dito, this is also equal to the bearing of DE. Right? So, looking here, nasolve ko naman na ngayon sa alpha eh. So, I can solve for the value of my bearing EA. How am I going to solve that one? I'm not going to use sine law anymore or cosine law kasi titingnan ko lang naman from this diagram. From that diagram, masosolve ko na ngayon yung bearing ni EA. I'm just going to take 180, isusurat ko lang 180 degrees minus yung 180 minus yung bearing ni DE minus yung alpha. Yan ngayon yung magiging bearing ni EA. Tama? So, that is 180 degrees minus bearing of DE. That is 27 degrees 38 minutes minus my alpha 66 degrees 15 minutes. That is now the bearing of EA. Inputting that in your calculator, the bearing of EA is simply equal now to, paki-check man, 180 degrees minus 27, 38 minus 66, 15. My answer here is 80. Just going to erase that one. So, ang sagot ko dito is 86 degrees 7 minutes. As for the direction, that is north east. 86 degrees 7 minutes. This is now the bearing of my EA. Again, this is case 3. So, ganyan po ang pag-solve ng type ng omitted measurements under type 2 case 3. Again, I would like you to go back to this video and try to compare yung process ng pag-solve ng omitted measurements using the different types and different cases. Mayroon pa tayong isang type, si type 3, and there are still 3 cases. I'm going to upload notes regarding type 3. I would like to encourage you to uh, review those notes and compare the processes on the analysis of omitted measurements for type 3, case 1, 2, and 3. Again, if you have any questions, just ask them. I'll try to answer your queries. Thank you for listening.